Hey guys, welcome to Simproved, Fry speaking here, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. And today we are going to build this ultra modern futuristic mansion. You guys have asked for a scientist, high-tech guru kind of mansion. Here it is. It is of course a little bit inspired by the Iron Man mansion. It comes with 4 bedrooms, a whole secret laboratory in the basement and a cliff. There is even like a military jet, lots and lots of little eco-friendly details like solar panels and lots of high-tech stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see, I start to build in Willow Creek, the good old base game lot. 50-50 it is, and that means that this is also a lot where you can place this house on if you just have the base game. I will use all of the packs that I have. Like, I didn't look up any stuff, so this uses all of the packs basically. And yeah, if you want to download this, the download link is in the video description down below, and feel free to still download it even if you don't have all of the packs, since you don't necessarily need all of the packs for the house to function or to work. So yeah, just test it out for yourself. And I also want to thank you so much for all of your lovely comments and suggestions. And the scientist mansion was something that lots and lots of you guys wanted to see, since there is kind of like an abundance of that in the gallery. I've looked it up myself for inspiration, and I didn't find anything where I was like, oh yeah, that really looks like a tech guru kind of high-tech thing. Some were a little bit too alien. Some were kind of normal looking, just normal modern houses, and I wanted to up it up a little bit. So we are going to build something that has like a really interesting structure and lots of diagonals. So if you want to rebuild this, since it has lots of diagonals, it is quite tricky, and it just building diagonally takes up so much time because the game is kind of against building diagonally. I don't know how to describe it, but definitely it took me so much time just because I wanted to have these interesting shapes and like these triangles everywhere to make it look yeah, kind of futuristic, but still like super modern architecture. You know, we want to have like a bridge between almost ridiculously futuristic alien-like but still human architecture, and therefore I looked up some of these typical ultra-modern houses, and of course the Iron Man mansion popped up, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to rebuild that one. And I was like, that's really cool, but the real mansion that they used for the movies is round. We don't have any round walls and like basement, like floor tiles, etc. It is always so like almost impossible in The Sims 4 to build round houses. So I went with the diagonal structure here, and I especially love the windows because we got these from City Living, and they have this same structure kind of pattern with these diagonal shapes and patterns, and I just love that. So we are going to go with that throughout the whole architecture, or like building this whole house. There even is a pool downstairs, and yeah, it is quite a huge pool. Kind of looks almost small in comparison of the house, but let's just say the house is pretty big. Like, the furnishing took even like more time than just building the layout of it. And for those who don't know, I personally like doing exterior more than interior. It's just something that I enjoy more, and I also think that like my talent, or whatever you would call it, and interest is more in the, you know, like layouting of houses, like the exterior of houses, but the interior is always like, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I like the whole high-tech thing, so we could use lots and lots of very interesting objects in this house that I usually would never use. But since of course there is like a huge laboratory kind of thing in the basement, I thought, okay, let's go crazy and look at all of the objects that we have with all of the packs, and it was really lots of fun. So stay tuned for that. This is going to be lots of fun, especially the laboratory is one of my favorites of this whole house. Here we go with the interesting roofing, because I was like, okay, diagonal roofs are a big no-no. So we use some of the get to work fences on top and then put the trimming around. So we have this interesting gazebo-like shapes. And I thought it looks so cool like that. So we are going to put this all around the whole house to have like a really interesting shape of this house and kind of make it more ridiculous with the whole diagonals and the triangles. That's the word. There we go. And I just thought it looks so much more interesting that way and definitely gives you that high-tech guru, maybe even like a supervillain house. Like, I've been building this, by the way, for 10 hours, could be also 12. My recording was 8 hours, and since this took so much time, of course, I will heavily cut this video, so you can see all of the steps of how I built this, especially since I had to go back and forth of everything and kind of remodel some stuff so it all works in the game. And this is play tested. Your Sims can get everywhere in every kind of, you know, room, into the basement, etc. So this is play tested and you can download this. The download link is in the video description down below. And also, of course, it is on the gallery under Modern High-Tech Mansion, if you want to find that there. I especially thought, since when I had the whole shapes down with these gazebo kind of style things and the diagonals, I still thought, okay, this still doesn't look technical. So we will put some solar panels in there that I found, or that you will find if you put in bb.show live edit objects and then put in debug into the filter. And there are lots and lots of debug objects that are hidden in the game and not like necessarily in the build mode. So there are tons and tons of stuff, and also these solar panels, so I put them everywhere. And I thought, okay, so this is maybe a self-sustainable house that can power itself, because that's what a high-tech guru supervillain kind of would do. And by the way, I also could see this on like the Lonely Island lot in Solani. So if you have the island living thing, that would be really cool. Just think about like James Bond villains having their headquarters in a volcano or something like that. Here that could be another thing. And yeah, basically downstairs is a little entrance that is supposed to be for the laboratory. There's also that stairs that go downwards into the lab. And I also will put some of the debug cars there, so you see that it's kind of like a garage kind of thing where your Sim supposedly can drive into. It was actually quite tricky, since I had to raise up this whole house so I could have the cliff under it, and it was kind of tricky to put this entrance there and to make it possible for your Sim to get there, since it overhangs, but sometimes the game thinks it's blocked. So I had to heavily play test the whole entrance that you can see here with the lab entrance, of course. And here we are in the laboratory downstairs. So the laboratory has two sections. One is the lab and the other one is the vault. The vault, later on, we will put some cars and expensive pictures and paintings and gold and stuff. And the laboratory, of course, is, well, a laboratory. I just thought it would be really cool to look at all of these crazy objects that we have now with all of the packs. And it is kind of interesting. If you like this science stuff, of course, Get to Work is the first pack that I would suggest, since with Get to Work you can go, you can visit your Sims at work and play at their workplace. And the scientist career, in my opinion, is the best one there. It gives you also the best perks. So if you are into gameplay like that, Get to Work. And also if you're into crazy laboratory stuff, The Stranger Will gives you lots of these things as well, especially some military objects. So in the middle of the lab we have these 3 containment boxes, units, whatever. And I will later place a Strangerville plant in there, Baby Yoda, of course, and the Scarecrow from Seasons, because I thought there should be some things that can move theoretically, that are like aliens or something like that. And yeah, these 3 things came in mind, and I even work in there. Also, there is a military jet on the end of it. By the way, this is of course heavily inspired by the whole Iron Man basement, so think about that if you want to play with this here. There are lots and lots of knickknacks that your sim can do in there, so this is like my favorite room of the whole mansion, of course. And the military jet has even like a little door, trapdoor thing, I don't know what to call it, mechanical door or gate, that theoretically, of course it doesn't work in The Sims. You can see upstairs as well, so I thought maybe he's a superhero or supervillain, whatever. Think of like X-Men or something that can like fly with a jet to somewhere to rescue the world or do evil or whatever. And here's the vault. Like I said, there are lots and lots of these very expensive paintings in the game. Some cars, some gold bars and whatnot. You know, all of the knickknacks that I could find that are golden, I will put in there. And it was kind of interesting. I just thought somebody who has or lives in like a mansion like this definitely has lots and lots of money. So here you go. We have lots and lots of ridiculous, you know, luxurious show-off objects. So since I usually never use them that much, only if it like makes sense for the build, I may use them, but usually I'm not a big fan of that in like real life. So yeah, I could use them here, which is cool. There you could see me putting Yoda and the Scarecrow in one of the containment units. So yeah, and that was like the nod off of the laboratory. Here we go with the upstairs furnishing. So be prepared for lots of black, lots of white, and lots of red, yellow, or blue. Because apparently I wanted to do the whole interior design just in plain white. But, oh my god, in The Sims 4 build mode, white is not white. White swatches come in grey, beigey white, or white, bluish white, red white, whatever. It's not really white, and it doesn't even matter what kind of lighting you have. It still is different. So I needed some contrast and make it look a little bit more cozy then. So I went with black, because I always love monochromatic for modern mansions. And then you can always do splatters of color. So here is the kitchen with a wine rack, where also there is a fridge. And yeah, with a kitchen aisle, I think you say, in the middle. And of course a little dining area like next to the window, so they have a nice beautiful view while eating their food. And it was kind of interesting how to decorate this, since yeah, first I wanted to go with super modern and like white and high-tech, like the exterior looks, but it was actually yeah, not that interesting to do, because all of these crazy objects that are for the lab, etc., I already used. And I must say, while furnishing this, the Moschino stuff pack was my savior. For those who can't remember my review of this whole stuff pack, I was not a big fan of the Moschino stuff pack. But it saved this build. So I want to thank anyone who worked on the Moschino stuff pack, because the objects are actually really cool, especially for houses like this. I thought that they were too ridiculous to use, but I used a lot of them. So for these ultra-modern futuristic interior design, I know it's kind of supposed to be fashionista or something, but in my opinion it is, yeah, kind of versatile, the whole stuff pack. So we will use that quite a lot here. Like, I didn't even realize that I used so much of it. But when I used it again and again, I was like, okay, apparently the Moschino stuff pack is my thing now. And here we are in the living room, by the way, which also has the Moschino sofas. And this ridiculous bar. I think it's on City Living. I'm not even sure where that bar is from. But I mean, look at it. No one would ever have that bar. That is the perfect house to use that bar. I just thought it looks really, really cool. So yeah, we go with this whole geometrical diagonal patterns here and there. And I just thought it looks really, really cool. We could use that throughout, and also we will use the octagon quite a lot. There are some objects that have like octagon pattern or hexagon patterns, and yeah, in case we find that, I will use that as well. While doing the living room, I was like, oh shit, this is like a huge living room, by the way. but it also has a really weird shape thanks to the exterior weird shape, of course. But it is actually kind of very lived in, kind of cozy still, even though it is like black and white. I really like it, by the way. And oh, of course, if this is all too quick for you, there will be a video tour at the end, of course, like in every video of mine. So you can have like a better look at everything. Since, yeah, I had to heavily cut this video. Like I said, 10 hours building. And I mean, that's just 10 hours. It took me like a week of where I had to split these 10 or 12 hours onto. And now I'm off to editing it. So I think I spent 14 hours with this build. So in the end, I'm always like super happy that I'm done with it. But also I'm like super happy how it turned out. You know, like I take my time and I am not the fastest builder, but at least I do like different stuff all the time. You know, like I try to build like an ultra modern mansion, for example, or like the little medieval village, etc. And I've seen that like lots and lots of other YouTubers kind of tend to do the same and the same. And that's fine, but I just get bored if I do the same and the same and the same. I just can't. Why should I build that if I always do the same? I know that, you know, like some of my builds are not that usable, like in gameplay maybe. But this is why I need your suggestions, guys. I really like the idea of a scientist house. So this is like a normal kind of family house. You know, you could have up to 8 Sims living there or even more. There are enough beds for everyone. It has, I think, 4 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms. I'm not sure. I like it. Yeah, it's a lot. And there's enough space for so many Sims living there, so feel free to cramp that up. But, you know, I like the idea of the whole scientist house thing, since it is kind of a little bit more interesting from the premise. But it also is a family house that you guys always want and, like, need to play with. So here you go, guys. This is actually, like, my family house. You guys always ask for family houses. Here we go. This is like for the scientist modern futuristic family. There you go. Please feel free to send me screenshots of your family living there or playing in it. Also, of course, like always, feel free to download this and change however you want. This is just how I imagined it. And this is the office, by the way, the upstairs office for, I thought maybe the lab is like a secret laboratory, you know. So someone has an office upstairs where they work on their whatever brokerage. Maybe they're like a journalist, like Superman, or I don't know, have like a normal day job and are like evil villain at night, something like that. So I thought an office is always cool to have. And there's also a little yoga corner, because while I was furnishing this, I kind of realized I don't have so many activity, you know, like objects where you can learn your skills. So there will be some yoga, there will be some easels, some sports stuff, lots of instruments everywhere. You know, like I try to put in like an activity kind of thing everywhere, kinda, you know, so your Sims can do something in that certain room except sleeping, like in one of these bedrooms, as you can see here. Also, I wanted to do the bedrooms really differently, so you have kind of like an idea what kind of Sim maybe occupies that living, like that bedroom. Here we have like a posh variant, or like, I don't know. I was kind of like, okay, I really like that bed. Let's change the colors of the bed, and then I go from the bedding to whatever comes in my mind of the color swatches that we have. And yeah, I kind of really like the whole idea of having like black and white and then just adding, you know, like a 2 or 3 main colors extra. Maybe just 2 colors extra, so it doesn't get too crazy. Which is also, by the way, why I don't like certain packs for builder, like for my own interior design style. And one of that is definitely Parenthood. I know that so many love that pack, and it's like one of the most bought ones, and I don't know. The color swatches are hideous in Parenthood, in my opinion. It's too bright, the vibrance and saturation of these colors are horrible. There are some swatches in there where I just question what blind clown did that on the developer team. So I think the strength of Parenthood lies in gameplay, apparently, and this maybe the reason why so many people love it. But yeah, there is nothing good about Parenthood. I question Parenthood a lot. In real life as well. No, I mean, it is a good pack, but yeah, that one was just... For builders, I don't think that there's like lots of usage because of the crazy color patterns that it gives you. So you can't really use that so often. Here we are in a bedroom that is maybe for a teenage girl, or just, let's just say, an influencer video creator, because there's this video station. So I thought maybe you have like a teenager living there, and I thought the red, contrasting red with the white and black is kind of neutral, so it could be a boy, it could be a girl, whatever. Because I know that some of you are kind of color fanatics and always say that pink is for girls and blue is for boys. For those who don't know, in medieval times, for example, or like pink hasn't been the girl color, it has always been a boy color until I think wasn't it a Jackie Kennedy thing? Because red is for men because of the blood of the enemies that are spilled, and rose or pink is therefore the watered down color, so that was always for the sun, you know. But yeah, like fashion historians may correct me here in the comments, but this is just how I learned it. I don't know where I did to get to know that, but that is kind of interesting in my opinion, because everyone always says, pink is such a girl color, but actually like 100 years ago or so, no, maybe even more, it was definitely a boy color. And like not so many know that. Here we are in another bedroom. I don't even know what to say about the bedrooms. I mean, yeah. After the third bedroom, I was like, ugh, are we done yet? Oh no, it's another bedroom. But I didn't want to go super crazy, you know, with like different rooms. Like I didn't want to put like a spa in there, but feel free to do that, of course. But I just thought, since you always want to have like your 8 sim family houses, you definitely need lots and lots of bedrooms. So here we go, guys. Lots and lots of bedrooms for you. Here's another teenage room maybe, because of the crazy color theme that is going on over here. I found this blue bedding that I've definitely never used or ever seen before in my life. Like that was a swatch where I was like, we have that, interesting, let's use that for once. So that was interesting, and we go with this royal blue here in that room. And yeah, maybe that's for the girl then. But yeah, I like how it turned out. My strength, like I said, is definitely not the interior design. But here we are, it's done, the interior design is done, and this means that the house is done, and here we are in the video tour. So welcome to the video tour, where we look at it like from different angles and nice long panning shots. And look how beautiful it is. This is always also the time when I'm like, oh my god, this is so beautiful, I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, I think it turned out really good. It definitely looks like a techguru high-tech kind of house. You know, kind of a little bit ridiculous, but definitely beautiful in my opinion. Like I would love to live in something like this, but then it also has to be like at the lake, like deep in the forest where there are no neighbors at all. Like I would be the person, if I had like millions of dollars, I would definitely build me like a mansion like this, and like somewhere super secluded. Like I would not live in a big city. Totally not. So yeah, that would be like my thing. And here we go. This is so beautiful. I really like how it turned out. Like there is a little fireplace outside, of course a barbecue and table to eat, then the pool with the slabs there, so Sims can theoretically walk over it. I don't even know, can they walk over it? Can they use the slabs for real? I just know that these are like the slabs that are pool decorations and they automatically are on the water. So I always like these, but I think the Sims can't use them, like they can't walk on them, which is a shame, but yeah, that's okay. Here's the entrance to the laboratory, which is, it turned out really cool to blend into the cave or like the cliff thing, you know. And I just love the view of the whole house. Like it is so well done. Like the exterior world Willow Creek is actually quite beautiful in my opinion. And yeah, here we are with the entrance to the laboratory again. I also want to thank the devs for Strangerville, because we got lots of crazy things from Strangerville. And yeah, I kind of put in all of the technical science stuff that I could find, which is some of the military career, I think, some of the scientist career, some of like the medical career, and yeah. It's crazy how much stuff we have that is kind of like that, and you never use it in like your normal family house. But yeah, here it kind of makes sense. This is the vault with the 2 Camaros, I think. Like I showed this house to my boyfriend, by the way. And I was like, okay, boyfriend, what do you think? Who lives there? And he was like, oh yeah, like a supervillain lives there. And then I showed him the cars. This is the kitchen, by the way, guys, of course. And I showed him the cars, and I like, can you identify what kind of car that is? Because I never know that stuff. He was like, I think this is supposed to be a Camaro. And I'm like, okay, is this like an expensive car? Because I'm just looking for expensive cars that you would put in your vault. He was like, oh yeah, I think that is like the most expensive looking car that you have, in the game. I was like, and just in case if it's not expensive enough, there's a military jet as well. By the way, I really love how the skylights, like the glass roofs, are in some rooms. That looks really beautiful. And yeah, I'm really happy how it turned out. It's kind of very eerie and lofty, but because of the black that I used a lot, it's still cozy. Because if I would have used only white and then some colors, I think it would have been a little bit too cartoony, like not lived in or cozy, like a real house, it wouldn't feel like a real house, I think. And this is like I think like it looks more lived in, like more realistic this way. But I can imagine that like maybe some who like the exterior of it expected that to be inside as well, like the white and the blue. But yeah, here we go. I just wanted to use lots and lots of furniture and stuff from different packs and kind of experiment with colors here. So here we go. This is the interior. And basically that's also it. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Feel free to download this. The download link is in the video description down below. Also give this a thumbs up if you like that build, and give it a thumbs down if you don't like the build. And maybe feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like Sims 4 builds like these or other crazy stuff. And like always, you can put your suggestions in the video comments down below, and I will always read them and sometimes even answer you if I have the time, of course. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!